Back to this week episode of What's Next. As always, I'm Caleb Rosario, joined by my boy Ant. It's just me and Ant today.
Yes,
How you doing,
sir.
bro?
And all I gotta say is we 1 week away. Both of us, we 1 week away from
Bro,
the end of that school year.
I'm looking forward to
I'm
it. It's
so ready
all
for
half
it.
days next week too. Cook,
Yes, sir.
chilling. But but it's just me and Ant today. Jalen wasn't able to be on here. Might have Rail join in a little bit, depending if he's able to get on. But we want to talk about some stuff that's been going on. We haven't had a sports episode in a while doing this, John, because we like to broaden our horizons on a podcast and not talk about sports the whole time. But there's been some stuff going on, and it could be just a sports episode, but this also could transition into something else because of the way of what's been going on. So Caitlin Clark, as people know, is a phenom in the WNBA world. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna get it out from the rip. I ain't watched no WNBA game in my life until this year, and I'm gonna just say that I haven't watched any game. And Ant's more of a basketball guy than me, so he enjoy good hoops. I'm more of a casual fan when it comes to a basketball. I mean, I love the Sixers, but outside of that, I don't really care to watch any of the games. Um, like I do with football or baseball. But I've watched a couple of games, and from what I've seen, the WNBA has gotten a lot more traction this year than any other year. And more people are watching. And that's a fact. The numbers are there, the numbers prove it. More people are going to the games. But I feel as though the more people that are going to the games are the games that Caitlin Clark is in. So there's kind of a polarizing subject when it comes to that because Angel Reese said some comments, and for those that don't know Angel Reese, she became popular when she won the chip. Was it 2 years ago in LSU, or
Yeah.
yeah, she 2 years ago,
2022,
2022.
2022.
They actually beat Iowa, and the whole this thing that she was doing in Caitlin Clark's face or whatever the case is got some viral stuff. And now I don't want to disagree with her in the sense as far as that she does have a really big following. Like a lot of people follow her. She's known on social media. Everybody knows who she is. She's come out in music videos with hip hop stars or whatever the case is. So, but as far as hoops, like just basketball, I obviously think Caitlin Clark is the reason why the WNBA has gotten as much traction as it has. But now people are starting to figure out that there are other good WNBA players now. You know what I mean? Because of Caitlin Clark, though. It's not that they're watching because of these other players. I feel like Caitlin Clark has brought such a big viewing this year compared to other previous years. And there's a lot of hate as far as from what I've seen from certain players, and they're playing very, very physical, taking some cheap shots on her. And I'm all about physicality in sports, but there's a difference between being dirty and just being physical. And that game was it last week? And who was the girl? I don't even know her. I don't know her name.
So I don't know how to say her first name. I'm gonna say uh Kennedy Carter.
Yes, and it's like spelled like CH. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So her, from what I've seen, she's a pretty decent basketball player. I've seen her put up some numbers. Um, but she took a cheap shot on Caitlin Clark, and she was like mouthing some stuff to her, and she checked her without her, basically like behind her back, and that caused some uproar. And why is it that these women are seen hating on Caitlin Clark? And Angel Reese saying that no, they're not watching just because of one person, they're watching because of her too, which I completely disagree with. Because I'm gonna be honest, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm saying just on basketball, there's nothing about her game that excites me. And I've tried to watch. She does nothing exciting at all. Like Caitlin Clark, obviously is a smaller player, but she can shoot out the gym. Like she can shoot, and that's where she makes her money is being that 3-point shooter, that 3-point specialist that we saw in college in Iowa. So I want to get your take on like what is it why do you think these players are hating so much? Like she's single-handedly got these players charter flights. Like they was flying like regular airlines that because they didn't have the money to fly with the team. Like it was just they were in a frontier flight. Like that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? For a professional basketball league, the WNBA, which we can talk about later. The reason the WNBA is still around, the NBA has been funding that whole thing. You know what I mean? That's the reason. They would have been bankrupt a long time ago because no one was going.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your take on it. And what is it that, do you agree with Angel Reese, or are these players that are hating on her, or do you feel like it is Caitlin Clark is the reason why that they're doing all this?
So when we talked about this the other day, like I was more along your line of like it was just Caitlin Clark, but like over the past couple of days, like I've been listening to other people talk, and I've been like trying to just do some little bit of research on my own, and I think what Angel Reese is saying has some merit to it, like especially like her game specifically. Like people are watching her play too, and she's getting superstars to come out and watch her play too. Because like you said, she's been in music videos with some of these hip hop artists, and she has good relationships with them, and they will come out for her for different events. So they'll come out for her to watch her play. So I slightly agree with her on the fact that like people are coming to watch her play. That is bar none. Like people are definitely coming to watch her play, but I think that the WNBA is taking a spike in popularity because Caitlin Clark came into the league, and it all stemmed from her college career. Like she was the marketable star ever since her freshman year. After her freshman year in college, she became the marketable star in college. That speaks to why she has all the endorsement deals she has, and that's why she got all those endorsement deals when she was in college. That's why there was even a discussion of whether or not she should stay there for another year because she still definitely had another year because of COVID. They all had that extra year to use. She could have just stayed there and made a bunch more money in endorsements than what she would have made going to the WNBA, but she chose to go to the WNBA. She wants to be a professional basketball player. She wanted to expand her horizons there. So I didn't disagree with her with that. I mean, we also know that the Big Three offered her a crazy contract as well to say, "Hey, come play over here. We'll give you this amount of money," and it was definitely going to be more than what she's making now in her WNBA contract.
Mhm.
But she didn't. I don't think she even entertained that. Like that doesn't make. I don't. I didn't see the point in going there
No.
either. I think if you want to be a professional basketball player, you go to that professional basketball league that you're supposed to go to. So she went to the WNBA, and her coming over to the WNBA has brought a lot more eyes onto the game itself. Like I'm seeing people tweet about random WNBA games that don't even have anything to do with Caitlin Clark. Like people are just watching in general. And I think that it's also given these other stars that have been in the league a few years a lot more popularity and notoriety. And I think that they're trying to show to Caitlin Clark, like, yo, like we was here before you. We was nice before you ever got here. So it's like we not just this is not the Caitlin Clark party, basically. So I never had a problem with like the hard screens or maybe the excessive contact that they're using on her because I mean that's how you have to play her. You have to play her up. You gotta be up on her. You gotta pick her up a lot higher than you would any other player because she's the female version of Steph.
Yeah.
As soon as she gets across half court, she's in range.
Hmm.
So you got to pick her up. You got to chase her around the court. You got to be physical with her because just like with Steph, that's the way that people got under his skin early in his career when he started catching on, when he started catching fire and he started
Yeah.
getting notoriety. The remedy was you got to play up on him. You got to be physical with him. You got to bump him. You got to get him off his spot, like so he can't just get off easy shots. So I never had a problem with any of that stuff that they were doing until the Kennedy Carter play. Like that was just there's no room for that in basketball. There's no
Yeah.
reason to check somebody without them looking. This is not hockey, right? This is not hockey where you could just do that and then you get a 5 minute penalty, you in the box, and then that's it. Like no one does that in basketball. Like,
Yeah.
and she went out of her way to do that. Like she
Mhm.
called her out her name and then knocked her to the ground. And a lot of the reason why people are now hating on Angel Reese even more is because after she did that,
Oh yeah.
she
Hmm.
was she was on the bench, and once she checked her, Angel Reese was on the bench, like jumping and clapping and saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then when Kennedy came out the game, like that, they all dapped her up and said, yeah, you did that, you did that." I'm like, we can't, as basketball
That.
players, we can't encourage that kind of behavior because then that's going to stem to bigger things happening. But Caitlin Clark has been great in that situation. She just rubbed it off. She said, like, there's no beef. I don't. It is what it is. It's physical. It's basketball is a physical sport, whether people want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
It is a physical sport. you're gonna get bumped around. So I think she's done a great job of just going through that and just keeping it what it was and not extravating the issue. Like there's no reason to carry this on anymore. But going back to your original question, I think that she is the reason why the game has more eyes on it now. Like she's not the sole reason, but if there's a 100% scale, I would give her 75% of that credit.
Yeah.
I definitely do. And then the other 25% can go to some of those other rookies in that class because that this class that came in was great.
Pretty good.
You had Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, who else?
What was it? Cardona?
Rakia Jackson. Yeah. Cardoso just started
Yeah.
playing. Like so a lot of these rookies we were watching them in college last year because the college season last year had a lot more eyes on
Yeah.
it. So seeing those girls come up to the WNBA just naturally brought a lot of more people into the game. So I think that was going to happen anyway. Like even without a Caitlin Clark in
True.
that draft class, like I think the popularity was going to rise regardless because a lot of people wanted to see how these girls were going to perform at the next level because a lot of them dominated on the college level. But that's not to say that the WNBA don't got their own stars already. Like you got Brianna Stewart, you got Ionescu on the Liberty.
Yeah.
Jonquel Jones, she's great too, former MVP. Then you got the Aces. The Aces got Asia Wilson,
Mhm.
Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young. Like there are some great teams. Connecticut Sun, they got like one loss on the season. Like
Mhm.
so there's great teams in the WNBA, and I think just Caitlin Clark's presence is giving those other teams the shine that they
Sure.
deserve. But the Aces already had their shine. Like they had the popularity already
Yeah.
because Kelsey Plum has been very marketable, and Asia Wilson is just a dynamo. She's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
She's averaging like 27 and 13 rebounds, with like 2 steals a game, three blocks a game. I'm like, she's dominating, and they're missing one of their best players, Chelsea Gray. So that's why they haven't been as dominant as they've been years past. But uh, Caitlin Clark still has to. She has the marketability, but now she has to like take her team to the next level.
Yeah.
I via like a LeBron or something like that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that she's on LeBron's level, not even close,
Yeah.
but like her cachet was making her teammates better. So I haven't yet to really see that this year in the
Yeah.
WNBA. Like she's trying, like her stat line looks pretty good. The only thing needs to cut down on are the turnovers, but
Yeah.
her stat line's pretty good. She's averaging like 17, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Like those assists could be even more.
Hmm.
I think her teammates are trash. That's a whole nother story.
Well,
Because
she's
I've seen
on
a
the
couple of
worst
games.
team, right?
They suck.
There-
Yeah, they're bad. They're very bad. Like one game I was watching, she literally was passing the wide open
Oh, I
girls. They had
saw that on TikTok.
layups at the basket and just selling them. Like, I'm like, so those 6 assists a game she's averaging could easily go up to like 8,
Yeah.
like if they're consistently making shots. So I think the Fever are a year away. If they can get another high draft pick, if if they can get Paige Beckers,
Right. I was gonna say that. Isn't she
if
like
they
the
can
number
get
one
Paige
pick coming out?
Beckers,
Yeah.
that'd be crazy. That now they might have something there
Right.
with her and Paige. I think those two, and then you just get some surrounding pieces. I think that could be a team down the line. And you know the WNBA free agency is like a lottery. I mean, anyone can go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
there's no money in the league. There's no
Yeah.
real like worries about what's going on. That's how the Liberty got so stacked
Yeah.
because they only had Ionescu there, and then out of nowhere they ended up getting Brianna Stewart and Jonquel Jones, and then they got the other guard Vandersloot. I'm like, well, this team is absolutely stacked. And then that year coming in, we all knew it was going to be the Aces versus the Liberty in the
Yeah.
finals. But I like this league now. Like it has a lot more popularity, and I think it's gonna just keep growing and keep growing because we still got Paige to come. We got Juju coming.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
those
They're
two are
definitely
gonna
good
stir
players.
it up even more. So
Mhm.
I like the way the WNBA is going, and it'll help them in terms of money.
Do Okay. I agree. Do you watch games like consistently?
I don't have time, so I
Yeah.
don't watch. But like, if I did, I would really try to watch more. But it's so their scheduling is so weird. I feel like Caitlin Clark has played the most games in the whole league. Like she plays like almost 4 times a week, or these other teams play twice. I'm like, that don't even make any sense. And then the
But I
games aren't
also
televised.
I'll be seeing on at work, like I'll go on Twitter, or whatever, and it say Caitlin Clark with a huge shot, and it'd be like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, what are we do? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah, nah.
I'm not
The
nobody watching
scheduling is weird. I don't like it. It don't. I don't know. I think that's something that they need to work out, but they're expanding. I think. Did you see that they have a new? They're going to be introducing a new team into the league.
Oh, are they?
Golden State.
Oh, where?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. They're bringing a new team in next year. So
How many teams is it
hopefully,
now?
and uh, 14,
Oh,
I
okay.
think,
All right.
maybe less. I'm not sure,
12.
but. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those numbers. It's a weird number, but I think if they can get some more teams, and then that'll like widen the talent pool too,
Sure.
because you won't have these stacked teams anymore. Now people can start going to other teams, and that just opens up roster spots. Because there's girls that I think should be in the WNBA now that aren't in the league because there's just no spots. Like
Yeah.
you can legitimately get drafted in the first round of the WNBA draft and not make the team. Whereas in the NBA draft, like that is unheard of.
What?
Like if you get drafted in the first round in the NBA, you are guaranteed a roster spot,
Yeah,
basically.
a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but WNBA, like they have training camp, like the teams are too stacked sometimes. It's like, yo, like you get drafted to the Aces and you're a guard, there's no room for you. They got 3 great guards right now. Like, where are you gonna play at? There's no time for you to play. So it's growing. I don't know if it's ever gonna grow to the level of the NBA, but
No, I don't. I
it 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 they need those expansion teams.
Yeah.
Like the Golden State's a good move. I think they're trying to expand into Canada as well, get a team in like Toronto or
Okay.
something, and
That'd be
then
dope.
from there they should just keep doing it, keep adding teams.
I agree. With I agree with pretty much all your points. Like, yeah, with the Angel Reese thing, people are gonna go watch her. Celebrities like her. Like, they just, they're gonna support her. And also, and I'm not always the guy to try to make everything kind of a race thing, but people are making it a race thing on Twitter. And
Yeah,
and that's my next point that I was gonna bring up. People are saying that they feel as though, oh, Caitlin Clark has white privilege, this and that. It's like, bro, can we just stop with that nonsense? She's a good basketball player. Can we just stop with that? Like, not everything, not because they raise up a girl that's white and straight, from what we know, that she's white and straight in the WNBA, where there's a lot of, lesbian and black basketball players. Like,
yeah,
now that they're raising up a white straight girl, they're like, oh, why does she get that privilege? Like, bro, she's good. Like, she's a good basketball player. Stop. It's not about race all the time. Like, nothing. That's not what this is about. It's about the fact that she's a good basketball player. She's a phenom in college, and that's just what it is. Like,
yeah. And then the
so
new fans coming in too are like making it insufferable because they try to
yeah,
make everything about her. Like I remember early on in the season, like when she was struggling a little bit, like everyone was just saying, "Yo, fire the coach, fire the coach, fire the coach. Yo, you gotta let Caitlin be Caitlin. You can't make her do this and do that." I'm like, yo, eventually she's gonna have to just learn to adapt.
yeah,
Some the coaches have their own style of play. If the style don't work, then it's up to the management to see that and then find someone who can make the styles work. But at the end of the day, like you can't just you just can't. I don't like it when teams and organizations just capitulate to the stars and let the stars do whatever they want. I
sure,
don't think that works,
sure.
and I think that she just has to buy into what's going on. And she just
Mhm.
had a 30-point game yesterday, so like
Okay.
it's like she's perfectly fine with what's going on. She of course it's a transition period. You're gonna take a little bit of time to figure out your new situation, who you playing with, how to play. It's a different brand of basketball. It's not college where you might be you're Iowa, you're the second ranked team in the nation, and then you're going up against I don't know like whoever.
Yeah,
They don't and
don't work.
especially in girls basketball like the talent like is
It's a
if
big
you're
gap.
up here
Yeah,
and someone's down here, it's like very noticeable.
yeah,
Like it's very very noticeable. So now the talent is more like she it's like more even. Like
yeah.
now it's more even because the WNBA has a lot of good players,
Hmm.
and I'm glad that people are starting to see like, oh, Caitlin Clark wasn't just gonna come in here and just dominate because the
Yeah.
WNBA has good teams, good players. Like they're not just gonna allow her to just do whatever she wants, and I think
Mhm.
that. That's good. Just
That's good.
don't
That's definitely good.
no bush league BS though. Like
Yeah.
we're not just knocking people to the floor just because. Like that's weird. I don't like that's not basketball.
No, it's not. It's like Draymond Green. Like,
Yeah, like I know what I'm saying. And now people saying that Fever need to get an enforcer. I'm like, I mean, yeah, but her teammates just need to stand up for her. Like
yeah, like
that's
what?
the only reason why some of these girls think any of that stuff is acceptable because she'll get knocked to the floor and then no one will go check the other girl that just knocked her to the floor.
No.
Like that's weird.
Yeah.
Like we was just talking before starting this. Like we both coach basketball and we've been in situations where there's been brawls.
Yeah.
So like our teams are gonna stand up for each other and fight if necessary. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not saying it goes to that point, but like
Yeah.
you got to stand up for her too, and that makes it almost seem like her teammates don't like her, which is not a good look at
Right.
all either.
That's
It
what
seems like it seems like everyone's hating for
yeah.
no reason,
Why? I
for
don't
no
understand
reason.
it. Like I don't get it why you're hating on this. Like and people are like saying that she's a, from what I see on the media and when I see in press conferences and all that, she's humble. She doesn't entertain any of the side stuff that goes on, but besides basketball. But you also don't know what she's saying on the court to kind of get these girls to act like that. You don't know what's being said, and
She's
you don't know
very
if she's saying some stuff to them back and forth and just talking on the low to make them act
she,
that way.
she's very verbal. I mean, you
Sure.
can even go back to Iowa. Iowa, she would yell at her teammates. She's yelling at the refs. Like she, so I get it. Like she definitely talks trash.
Yeah.
Like I mean, but that's every great player. Every great player talks trash. There's no great player that never talked trash and was just standing there like looking around and just being and just like whatever la la
Yeah.
la. Like they all have an ego
Yeah.
and they want people to just meet their expectations. If they don't meet their expectations, they're going to be demonstrative because that's their star.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree? Do you think star players should have like? Do you think star players should all have that sort of personality, or I think it's like, do you think it's like a difference on the person? Like if it's like, or the status that that person had. Like say in our situation, like say Joel Embiid was that kind of guy. Like he was, like a Jimmy Butler. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that that is an acceptable way to go about it for every player? Like that what Jimmy Butler did in Minnesota, do you think that was okay?
I think I think you need one guy to be like that.
Okay.
And if it's not going to be the star, it needs to be somebody that the entire team is going to respect no matter what.
Mhm.
Because it can't just be some random dude on the bench that don't play and has no cachet in the league.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like Udonis Haslam, I'll use him as an example.
Yeah.
Like Udonis Haslam was in the Heat organization for like 25 years. So it got to the point where he didn't even sniff the floor. He didn't sniff the floor. But if he said anything, everyone was gonna shut up and listen to
Yeah.
him because he just has the cachet to like, yo, I'm gonna like this is my regardless of who the best player is, I'm still my shit. That's
Yeah.
why him and Jimmy Butler got into it. He was gonna whoop Jimmy Butler ass because it's like, yo, like all right, you the star, but you not talking to me no type of way. Like this, I'm still that dude over here in
Yeah.
Miami. Like this is still my shit. So I think it comes with like if it's not going to be your star, it needs to be somebody that's respected. And I think like Joel Embiid was kind of like that early in his career, where he was more like flamboyant and showing off and like
Yeah. Yeah.
talking shit. But I think he's trying to like teeter down on that a lot. And I kind of like it for him because we don't need that from him because he already injured enough as it
Yeah.
is. So we don't need anyone trying to take him out because he doing some BS on the court that has nothing to do with basketball. So I think if he just keeps it basketball, that'd be good for me. That's why I wanted to keep like a dude like a Pat Bev
Yeah.
because Pat
Yeah.
Bev has the respect in the league of like I'm gonna just be a dude that's in everyone's face and just running around yelling, doing this and doing that, and no one's gonna think anything of it. They're just gonna say, "Oh, it's Pat Bev."
Yeah.
But
Same thing with like I couldn't stand him as a basketball player, but PJ Tucker was like that too. Like he was just that type of guy. He was terrible on like he was
oh
like awful. But people respect him and he's defensively he's gonna make it hard on whoever he's guarding. And it's just
yeah,
what it is. And so you need that person. And which is why I was also upset. Obviously, all Sixers fans are upset about the whole Jimmy Butler situation and why they let him go because he was like that, but he also can go score and go get you a bucket and go close out games. Like that's what he was doing when he was with us. But I with the whole Ben Simmons thing, they were just soft, and I feel like a lot of players don't respond well to that sort of thing. People hated Jordan, people hated Kobe because of that, because they couldn't play with. It's like, yo, I'm a grown man. Why are you talking to me like this? And it's like, I get it. Everybody has to like, yo, I'm a grown man. You can't talk to me like that. But bro, he's Kobe Bryant. Like you got like let he's what it is. And
Yeah,
it's not personal, but he's just trying to get the best out of you, and that's just the way he can do it. So,
exactly.
you know,
It's a new age. I think it's just the new age of basketball in general.
yeah.
Like everyone's a little bit more soft and like neutered and ticky tack. Like they can't take the harsh criticism
Mhm.
from coaches, other players, and like there's no the respect factor isn't
Yeah.
really there anymore. And so like I can yell at you and then it's not really me yelling at you, it's me like trying to pump you up or trying to like get the best out of you.
Yeah.
It's not nothing personal. I don't think you're ass, like
Yeah.
nothing like that. I'm like, yo, pick it up, like
Yeah.
let's go. Like you're not playing up to the standard right now,
Yeah.
so let's get ourselves there. I think we're missing a lot of that in basketball today, and you can see it with the kids growing up because they can't respond well to getting yelled at or even facing constructive criticism. Like I deal with it every single day when I coach. I'm trying to get yelled at my kids, get in their face, and like really pump them up. And I'm like, yo, like let's go. Like I've
Mhm.
seen you do way better than this right now. Like I don't know what you're doing right now. I don't know what your problem is, but figure it out and let's go. And then they get mad. They want to walk out
Yeah.
the gym. They want to do this. They want to do that. Like they want to be a baby. I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, we don't have time for babying right now. This is high school basketball.
Yeah.
You want to play at the varsity level, you gotta be able to deal with it. If you
Mhm.
can't deal with it, then find somewhere else to go. And I'm guarantee you the place you're gonna go isn't gonna treat you like that either because no one has time for that.
No
Can't
one
baby people.
cares. Like,
And that's why pro basketball, I think a lot of these dudes are so used to being baby throughout the years because they play at this high school where they were allowed to do whatever they want. And then they play in this AAU team in this AAU circuit where they're allowed to do whatever they want. And then they go here to this college and everything's tiered towards them. Everything's geared towards them. Everything revolves around them. And then you get to the league and it's not like that.
mhm.
No one everyone is looking out for themselves in the league and in
Yeah.
professional league. So I think like a lot of that stuff starts from when you're young, and then and then it shows itself when you once you make it to that pro level, and that's why some people don't make it that you think should make it because they can't handle it.
I agree. I think it is the way it is like now, because when you look at it, everybody's like, what was the most physical era in of the NBA? It was the 90s and early 2000s. Like that's what it was. They didn't care, like, we're gonna beat you up, and if you're not bleeding, we're not calling a foul. That's just the way it is. And there was obviously that's not necessarily basketball. Like a lot of the fouls that they were doing, literally just grabbing you out of the air and just bringing you down. Like that's not basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's just like way too much. But I don't have a problem with, like I said, like hard screen, like being physical with the game, like setting hard screens. And if you are gonna foul somebody, make them feel it. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like the way it is now. They be
Yeah.
fouling somebody just going out like this, and then they smack him on the arm, and it's a foul. Like, bro, you might as well just let him score. Now you're giving him an extra point.
And now you're giving up an extra point in the line. That's why I be always telling. I'm like, yo, if you're gonna foul, foul. Like they
Yeah,
can't score if you're gonna
yeah,
foul them. Like, what's the point of fouling and then giving them an and one? Like you
yeah,
could, like you said, you could just let them score. Then,
yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like, I think they're missing the physical aspect is missing from the game now because everyone wants to see people score. I'm like, all
Yeah,
right, like scoring is cool and all, but at the same time, we do want to see who can stop somebody, like who can do this, who can get a stop really when it matters. Like
yeah.
that's what all these games ever come down to. Like everyone can score, but at the end of the day, who's gonna stop somebody? And we can get into it later, but we can talk about game one of the finals that just happened on Thursday. Like that's what that was gonna come down to.
Yeah.
That's what this whole finals is gonna come down to.
Do you think we can transition into that. Speaking of the finals, I'm actively going for Dallas to win because I hate Boston. And I also want to see Kyrie get another ring. Kyrie's my favorite player, so like I just want to see him succeed. And it's also all the stuff that he went through when he was in Brooklyn, when he was in Boston. Like people hated him and talked down on him a lot. And
Yeah.
come to find out, he was right. Like he was just right about everything, and he changed his personality in a way, and he's become what he is, and he's one of the best players ever, and it's not even a question. And
Yeah.
but he was in a way a no show in game one. Like he didn't play well. He didn't score very much. Like he had some moments. Obviously, Kyrie's going to get his at some points of the game, but it wasn't like what we saw in the Minnesota series where he was literally like him and Luka were doing whatever they wanted. Like it wasn't even,
Mm-hmm.
Boston obviously is a great team. They have a great defense. It's going to be hard on Dallas to win, but I don't think that game one is going to be a reflection on what the series is going to be. Celtics ain't hitting 23s a game, bro. That's just not that's not going to happen every game. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though the way they got it down to what it was an 8 point deficit.
You got it down to 8 in
Like
the second half. Yep.
if that first half wasn't as bad as it was, Dallas was gonna be in the game at the end. Like
Yeah.
it was just that first half kind of got way out of control that Celtics couldn't miss and Dallas couldn't buy a bucket. That's just that's what it was. It's not gonna be like that. I think game two today, which is today, right?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. So it's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot. I think it's gonna be a lot different. Like you're not gonna be able to. I don't think Celtics are gonna hit as many shots as they did. Now, whether they win the series or not, different story. Because I think Celtics are the better team. I just see Dallas making it hard on them. And then also you're right, like it's gonna come down to who's gonna stop who at the end of the game. Like in the fourth quarter, who's gonna make shots and who's gonna get stops. And that's what it comes down to every game. Like
Mm-hmm.
especially in the regular season, these guys take off the first three quarters. Like they don't play hard. Like they go out, get your buckets, go out. Guys are having 30 by halftime. You know what I mean? It's like it's just what it is. And then fourth quarter comes. Sometimes these guys have like 2 points in the fourth quarter because they're actually playing defense on them now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is. But the way that it happened in Minnesota against Dallas, Minnesota couldn't stop Dallas in the fourth quarter.
Mm.
That's what happened. They couldn't get a stop, and they were playing tough defense. It's just Dallas was hitting every shot, and Dallas was stopping them on the defensive end with Gafford and Lively and leaving Luka making defensive stops, which that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I think
But I'm just supposed to show you that they're actually playing now.
yeah,
Because Luca wouldn't play a lick of defense if it was a regular season game. He would
not,
he could give
not,
two fucks.
which
He don't
which
care.
brings my that's what the point I was trying to get to. Do you think that's okay? Like, do you think that they really are just saving themselves for the playoffs? Like they just go out there and just play the game. They're just that good, so they get 35 and 10. But when it really comes down to it, they can be one of the best two-way players. Like Luka can be one of the best two-way if he tried. Like if he actually tried, he could be, but he doesn't. You know what I mean? But you got guys like Anthony Edwards, who great scorer. He was bad in the Dallas series, just scoring the basketball. He just wasn't good. But he can lock up somebody on the defensive end because he tries. He actually tries to do that. So
Yeah.
what is your thought on like, do they actually just load manage the whole entire regular season and just save it for the playoffs?
I think they BS on the defensive end. I've been
Okay.
talking to my friends about this for years now. Like defense in the NBA, they don't try in the regular season. Like, and it's so evident because like you can watch a game and then you see a lot of rotations that are supposed to happen that don't happen, and things just let they go swing, swing, open three, good. But in reality, then I watch a playoff series, those same two swings happen, but no, this dude closes out
Yeah.
now. Now they have to make a decision. Or do I shoot this still, or do I drive, or do I make a pass here? Like everything is so different in the playoffs. That's why a lot of people don't watch until the playoffs
Hmm.
because that's where the real basketball is. That shows you who's really good and who's really not good.
Yeah.
That's why guys like Joel Embiid will have all the regular season accolades that they have, but in the playoffs, the defensive schemes change, and now it's like, oh, you're not just going to be isolated one on one with some random center.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you get the ball, we might send someone at you, or we're going to wait until you dribble, and then we're going to send someone at you, and then you got to make decisions on the fly. Like a lot of them aren't used to playing that way in the regular season because that doesn't happen. Like a lot of times, like Joel Embiid is allowed to just go one on one.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you'll run into a team that tries to double him and do this and that every now and then, but a lot of times, like this is basic defense. Like people miss rotations or they over rotate
Hmm.
where I was like, what I'm saying is like, if let's say Joel Embiid gets the ball on the at the high post and he's standing there at the top of the key foul line area with the ball, he's jab stepping and all that. The entire defense is already collapsed in, just waiting for him to drive. Now he has an easy kick out to the corner. Tobias Harris 3 or whatever. Kelly Oubre 3. Like now that doesn't happen now.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. They're going to stay there. And then as soon as he even thinks about making a pass, they're going to retreat
Yeah.
and go over there. He makes that pass, they're there. It's not an open shot anymore.
Hmm.
So, and you're seeing that in the finals now. Like, the reason why Dallas was able to destroy Minnesota is because they were able to get into the paint and make Minnesota like collapse and
Hmm.
help, and they were just kicking it out for threes. And Minnesota's a slower team
Yeah.
defensively because they got the two bigs in there. So Gobert is not getting out on those shooters.
Hmm.
Cat is not getting out on any shooters. But McDaniels and Edwards, they could fly around the court.
Hmm.
So a lot of the times, like when they were successful, was when they had one or the other in the game of the big men, like
Yeah.
Gobert or Cat. Like that's when they saw a lot of better defensive possessions.
Hmm.
But I just think in the playoffs, the defensive intensity just kicks into another gear. Like people are not trying to like it's now we're trying to win. Like I'm not going to let you just take this open three. It's all strategic. Now it's like, okay, I mean, you might have shot 40% in the regular season, but I mean, are you going to shoot 40% in the playoffs? Like you haven't played in the playoffs before. You don't know the intensity that
Yeah.
goes behind every single shot and deep and possession. So you might just be throwing them up, missing. You go from 40% shooting 40% to shooting 28%. Now you have liability out there.
Yeah.
So it's just a mind game. They don't play hard in the regular season. That's why you see score. That's why you see the Indiana Pacers in a regular season game. Well, they'll score 150 points, and then they come into the playoffs and they playing, and then they lose a game and they only score 85.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's like now you see who's trying and who's not trying,
Yeah.
and the finals is gonna come down to defense. The reason why the Mavs got destroyed is because the Celtics scheme defensively, they're not helping.
Yeah.
They're just gonna they said, all right, Luca, Kyrie, if y'all want to go one-on-one, that's perfectly fine. We're not gonna overhelp
Yeah.
because we don't want to give up those threes.
Hmm.
So all the threes that they were taking, they did get good looks, but the majority of the threes that they were taking were like contested
Hmm.
or people were in the area. Against Minnesota, they were taking wide open, butt naked threes from the corners,
Yeah.
the wings. Like dudes were just open. That wasn't the case of game one. Dudes weren't open.
What adjustment do you think? Because what I feel is though, if they're just gonna let Luca and Kyrie go 1-on-1 because they're not gonna send a double team, they're not gonna send help. What do you think has to be the adjustment on that? Do you think they should start running more pick and rolls off of that and just get favorable mismatches for Luca and Kyrie?
Yeah, but I mean it's hard because the Celtics lineup has a lot of dudes that can guard either one of them, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Brown will start off guarding Luca. Okay, I'll get a screen with the center. I mean, you might get Al Horford on you. Hopefully, that's your best bet.
Yeah.
But now, the wild card is Porzingis
Oh yeah. I mean,
because Porzingis is so big,
yeah.
he don't really have to get up on you in terms of like trying to stop you, but he can be in the area. He has long enough hands,
Mhm.
arms to get a hand up and contest any shot. So it's still going to be difficult. They can't get all the way to the rim now because Porzingis is in the game. You saw it
Yeah.
on Thursday. He had like 4 5 blocks in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Like dudes just trying to go right at him. He's just blocking everything.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna be the wild card. If he's gonna shoot the way he shot game one, then it's gonna be a sweep, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Dallas isn't winning. Yeah.
yeah, but I don't like you said, I don't think what the Celtics did is gonna be like sustainable for the entire series, like four
Mhm.
straight games. They're
Yeah.
definitely gonna have games where they miss a lot of shots. I mean, you saw that in the second half. Like
Mhm.
the way the Mavericks were able to cut the lead to 8 points. Like
Yeah.
so it became a game, like for a little bit.
Mhm.
So I think it's going to be an interesting series, but Dallas is going to have to make some adjustments on the offensive and defensive end because on the defensive end, like Porzingis, the Celtics have the ability to go 5 out, which eliminates any threat of a shot of a rim protector.
Sure.
So I saw Dallas was trying to go small to try to match up with them. Now there's really no rim protection at all, and now you got Jalen Brown going downhill to the basket. There's no rim protection layup.
Hmm.
Derek White layup. Now they do. Now they're driving. You don't want them to get layups. You're collapsing the paint, kick out, swing, three,
Hmm.
swing three, here three. And then they play in the transition three. And now Dallas is trying to get it back on the other end. Luka takes a step back with 20 seconds on the shot clock. It's a terrible shot.
Mhm.
And they're gonna go down the other end. Three. That's what happened in the first half. That's why they ended up going down 25 in the blink of an eye. They
Right.
was rushing. They gotta take their time. They gotta like do what they were doing against Minnesota. They gotta find out matchups and they gotta get into positions where the Celtics have to help
Yeah.
so that they can get those lob plays to the basket and those threes to get the other guys involved, like Derrick Jones and PJ Washington.
Yeah.
Because they'll take the pressure off of Luka and Kyrie.
I agree. I agree with that. And I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. Um, I'm gonna be tuned in, but definitely gonna be more tuned into this London series with the Phillies. Really excited that we're gonna get a chance. I mean, I wish we were playing a different team than the Mets because I wanted a more exciting series. And I'm not saying we're gonna beat them 2 games. We should, you know what I mean. But then Taiwan Walker's pitching tomorrow, so you know how that could go. So, so the what I wanted to bring up was they're expanding. Every sport is mostly every sport is expanding around the world as far as like doing games overseas, doing games in London. NFL does games in London and Germany, and now the Eagles are going to do the first one in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I think that's a good idea. You're expanding the reach of the sport, which football is a domestic sport. You don't see football outside of the U.S. You know, but there's a thing, Josh Jacobs went on a podcast. I think it was on a podcast or an interview, one or the other, that he was doing that. He is now on the Green Bay Packers. So they are telling players on the Eagles and the Packers that for the Brazil game, mind you, it's the Eagles and the Packers. Both teams' primary color are green, right? They're telling both of these teams none of the players can wear green while they're there because of the gangs that are in Brazil. They can't wear green. They also can't leave the hotel and they're going to be escorted to the stadium in an armored vehicle because of the danger that's out there. Now, Brazil, it is a dangerous place for tourists. Like you can't just go to Brazil and be outside of a resort. Like you can't do that because if you go outside of the resort, you're at the mercy of whoever lives there. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Just like when you go to Mexico, like you can't
Mexico,
leave.
same thing.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? In most of these South American countries, you can't just leave as a tourist. They're going to rob you. Like
Oh,
it's like for sure.
100%.
And they know because as soon as they look at you, they know you're not from there. And what I'm not what I'm not understanding, if the NFL knew this, one, why are they going there? Two, why do they pick two teams that are green to go there? Why? It makes zero sense. Like,
And how can you tell both teams that they can't wear green? Green is in every single jersey that they own.
yeah,
Regardless if the Eagles were the black on black, there's still green in that
in there.
jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
There's not a jersey that the Packers can wear that doesn't have green.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what that whole thing was about and why it is. And Josh Jacobs and AJ Brown actually he tweeted, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. He tweeted um the question that everybody was asking. Um, okay, always he kills me with the freaking hat that his at 1K always open. I think let's see if he might have deleted it, but he said the $1 million question everybody asking, if we can't leave and tour the country and just like enjoy ourselves out there, they're gonna be out there for a while. Like the season starts, but they're gonna probably gonna be out there a week in advance because of media coverage and whatever the case is. Like they're probably gonna be out there and practice on the field or whatever. So he's like, if we can't wear our colors on our jerseys, we can't leave the hotel. Why are we even going over there? And that's a fact. Why? Why are you going there?
Why? How did you come to an agreement with Brazil? How did that happen?
No, I don't
First of
know,
all,
bro.
they already knew this. So why did you agree? And then they would say, yeah, we're gonna pick the two teams whose primary colors are green to go. Yeah, that makes sense. And Brazil was like, oh yeah, yeah, come on over. It's like they want someone to get lined.
Bro, it's also like, all right, if they're not going to be one thing is not going to be allowed to leave the stadium, like being allowed to leave the hotel. They're going to be staying in a pretty sure one the nicest hotel that's there, and they're going to have service down there with food or whatever. They don't really. But sometimes when you go to another country where you want to go see what's out there, you want to just most of them
Just like
are
the Phillies
families.
were Phillies with London. Like
Yeah,
they was I seen the Nick interview. He's talking about just being out there and seeing what's going on, seeing how they live in London. Like
yeah. Nope.
you can't just go out in Brazil and see how they
No,
live. You know what I
they don't.
mean?
I don't care how they live. Like, I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
just not gonna do it. I don't care.
yeah.
Like same thing with the Mexico. With the MLB has games in Mexico City. They just had a series earlier in the season with the Astros and the Rockies. Like it's fine. We're trying to expand the game. There's baseball in Mexico. Mexico has one of the biggest professional baseball leagues in the world. But bringing MLB teams over there, that's dope. But you also got to understand, bro, these cartels don't care who you are. And the fact that you are a Major League Baseball player, that's like a gold mine for them. You know what I mean? I don't know if you heard this story. This probably was before you started like really watching baseball. And this was, if I'm not mistaken, like 2014, 2015. And
Okay.
a player from the Tampa Bay Rays, his name Jose Lobaton. Sorry, Wilson Ramos. I don't know if you remember Wilson Ramos. He played with us for a year in 2019. He was a catcher and he came from the Mets. But
Sounds familiar.
he's from Venezuela though. And
Okay.
Venezuela, again, one of the biggest baseball leagues in the world over there. Ronald Acuna goes play down there in winter ball and all that. So he was down there. He lives down there in the off season in the hood, like where he grew up. That's where he lives. They kidnapped him. They kidnapped him for 2 weeks. Yeah, they kidnapped him and I mean, he's a millionaire. He has money and whatever, and they knew who he was. And the cartel kidnapped him and called his family. I think the ransom was like $5 million or something like that. 5 million or something in the millions, like a lot of money. And they said in 2 weeks, if you don't give us his money, we're gonna kill him. Like they were gonna chop off his head and send it to his family. The family got the money because he kind of in a way somehow instructed them to get the money this way by going into one of his accounts and got the money, but they didn't care who he they and people were like, oh no, it was a bluff, they were going to kill him. No, they were going to kill him.
Oh,
Like
they would have definitely killed him.
you wouldn't have seen him again.
Was yeah, like what do you mean?
Like
Yeah, that's what they
there's
do.
there's certain places you just don't go, bro. Like Brazil's probably one of them. Just don't go to Brazil. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some other countries in South America that you probably could have made it happen and go to, that are a little bit more safer, quote unquote.
Mm,
Like Mexico, there's resort towns in Mexico. Like if you could do an NFL game in Mexico, fine, you can do an NFL game in Mexico. But Brazil, like, what is there over there? Like, it's nice place. Yeah, cool. Like that's like another thing. You don't go to Colombia, bro. You don't go over there. There's just certain places you can't go. So, go overseas to Europe somewhere. Like just stay over there.
please,
Like
please.
do a game in Australia
Those
or
are
something.
places you can go out and just
Yeah.
experience
Do a game in
experience the
Australia.
country.
Like do a game over there. Do a game in Japan. Do a football game in Japan. Like they've never seen. I don't know if they ever seen football out there. Like they don't play
Mm,
football. You know what I mean? And their crowds are crazy when it comes to the MLB games that go out there. Like what? Imagine a football game. They ain't gonna know what's
yeah,
going on, but they gonna be there. They gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? And Japan is like a great tourist place. Like a lot of tourists go over there and enjoy themselves over there. Like people say that
yeah,
the best places to go to because everyone's nice over there. Like Asian cultures are known to be more nice. You know what I mean? Like do a game like the Philippines or something. Do something over there. Don't go to South America, bro. Just stay out of it. And no, more importantly,
I'm
don't
good on
pick.
South. I'm good. I didn't even know they got to travel in an armored vehicle.
They have to travel with armored vehicle escorts, and with the team bus is going to be traveling like armored vehicle in front, armored vehicles in the back, like to the stadium, like with police escort, bro.
But think about that. If you gotta do all that, why? Like what? What? That don't even make sense.
Yeah.
if you have to do all that just to get to the stadium, what is the
To go
point
to
of using all those
practice.
resources?
You have to do that to go to practice. Like,
Oh my god.
bro, it's dumb. And then, not to mention, a lot of these players are not even going to feel safe about bringing their families anymore. Like,
Oh, there ain't no way.
like you know what I'm
Hell
saying?
no.
Like that, the whole thing was like, yo, I get to go with my family to go to Brazil, like this dope. But then now they're hearing this is like, I'm not taking. What you think? Devontae's taking his girl and his baby like over there? Are you
Mm-mm.
kidding me? Like that's not happening. It's just
That's
it's
insane. I did
dumb.
not know that. That's actually crazy.
It came out a couple of days ago because Josh Jacobs is the one that said it, and I thought it was a false report until I saw who was the source, and it was like, oh, he played for the team. Like he definitely knows something that they're telling us. Like, yo, don't wear the color that we're gonna wear. Like, what are they gonna wear? What are they gonna wear out there? What are the Eagles possibly gonna wear? All white, but they still have green helmets. And there was also like, what shade of green can't we wear? Like, what green can't we wear? Like, it's just dumb. Like,
Yeah, they going. I mean, the Eagles just going to have to wear the all black with the
with the black
black
helmet.
helmets.
Yeah.
I
That
mean, that's as little green as possible, and they gonna wear black socks. Like I don't know.
What are the
It's
Packers gonna
crazy.
wear though? Remember them throwback unis that the brown and navy blue Jones? Remember them Jones that they wore that time with Aaron Rodgers with the yellow helmets? They were
This is
awful.
that. They got they got to wear those classic Nike uniform. They screwed. Every single jersey they got all types of green in there.
That's what I'm
They
saying, bro.
absolutely screwed. All their helmets green. That's the only way they can.
That's the dumbest thing ever, bro. Like, why? Why not pick like if you they love the Chiefs so much, why not send the Chiefs out there? Like, why
I ain't
do
know better than send the Chiefs out there. They can't. You got to protect Mahomes at all costs. Protect Mahomes at all costs. Hell
they ain't
no.
gonna give it a chance to one of them cartel dudes get Mahomes? Eh,
They get Mahomes. It's over.
take
We want 100 million.
take Jackson. It's like, we'll give you Jackson.
Oh, oh my god.
Nah, bro.
Oh.
They take Mahomes like, yo, we'll trade you Jackson. Like, we'll give us Pat. We'll give you Jack. Like,
Eye for eye. Mahomes
wasn't
for
wasn't
Mahomes.
what's her name performing out there? Taylor Swift.
She was
It was,
performing in Brazil.
I think so, if I'm not mistaken, she did do a show out there, a couple shows. Taylor, which that's also psychotic because who down there is listening to Taylor Swift?
She's so global.
Yeah,
I don't even put it past her.
yeah, bro, she did. She yeah, she was in Rio. She did a Rio concert. What the heck? Heat exhaustion killed Taylor Swift fan attending Rio concert.
Yeah, I literally just saw that. I just saw that.
What the heck? And we're gonna send. Is the stadium that their team is playing in a dome? Are they playing outside? What? This is crazy. I don't think this was
Uh,
thought out very much.
I don't even want to watch the game anymore. I'm like, I got all these questions in my head now about not even the game, like just safety. Like, are we even gonna see our players again? Are we gonna see our players again? This is crazy.
Like, yo,
Armored vehicle escort
escort,
to practice.
bro.
Why are we doing this?
To practice. There's no
You could have
practice fields because
you
it's a
could have
soccer
picked
field.
you could have picked any other country.
You literally could pick anywhere else
Going to
besides that place.
Paris.
Yo, that's a good idea. Why not do something out there? Do something in
That'd be
France?
hard.
That'd be
That would be
dope.
hard.
Ooh, we have to bring that to Roger. Hey, yo, Roger, move this game from Brazil to France, and we gonna be cool.
Now.
Like right now.
Right now.
Y'all want
Cause
to go
I
overseas?
ain't
That's fine. But you
that's
got the players.
crazy.
Heat exhaustion, which it's a September game. It's gonna be hot down there. Like danger to the players because of cartels. And there's no government. Like it's literally cartels that run everything down there to begin with. Like this is I don't think they thought this out very much. This is crazy. But
I didn't even think about any of this when they announced it. I just said, "Oh shit, we going to Brazil.
Oh,
Oh,
Brazil, let's
it's about to be
go.
dope."
And
Yeah, Arbor vehicle transport though, huh? Yeah, I don't know about that one. Might fake an injury.
my fake an injury.
Might fake an injury. Stay back in Philly. Be like,
Last
yo,
last point that we can get to. We can wrap this up after this. I was gonna say, this has been a sports episode, so might as well just we're both Phillies fans. You know what I mean? This has been up to this point the best season that I've witnessed so far. 2008, I was young, 9 years old, so like don't remember much of the regular season itself because I'm pretty sure there was a lot of games that I didn't watch as a 9-year-old. Definitely watched most of the postseason games. I remember the series against Milwaukee, the series against the Dodgers, and then against the Rays. Like I watched most of those games, and I remember watching the last out with my dad. Hearing Harry Callis's voice announce the
no,
last out. Like I remember that.
no.
That was dope in itself. I remember more the 2011 season because I was older. I was 12 years old. I was playing Little League baseball. Like I love the Phillies and Roy Halladay and Oswald and that pitching staff that was unbelievable. Like crazy. The fact that we didn't win the World Series that year is beyond me. That we lost to the team that actually won it in St. Louis. But and that kind of started a downward spiral, because that last out, Ryan Howard tore his Achilles. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like hit the ball, took a step towards Achilles, and then since then, Phillies wasn't the same for 10 years. You know what I mean? We didn't make the playoffs for 10 years after that. Like, so, the sellout record was like at 270 games in a row from sellouts from 2007 to 2011 or 2012. And then once, we got guys like Ben Revere and Dominic Brown and guys like that like weren't good. Dominic Brown had a little stretch there and whatever, but now that we're back in 2022, we get to the World Series. The first time being in the playoffs, we get to the World Series. Come up short because no one even expected us to be there. I didn't. I'm telling you right now, I did not expect to go to the World Series that year. You
That was
know,
magical.
that was crazy. Then 2023, there was a lot of higher expectations. The fact that we had Arizona at home for 2 games to close it out and our offense went non-existent. It was abysmal to watch because our pitching kept us in the game. It's just our offense could do zero. And Arizona went on and got absolutely slaughtered in the World Series because there was no chance that they were beating Texas at all. That was never happening. So the fact that this year we came into the year and I was, on my videos, which I haven't done in a while, you guys, it was a lot of stuff going on with that, but it's hard. It was really hard to keep up during the MLB season. How many games they just play every day. It's hard to
Hmm.
really do all that. But we came into the season like they have to start off strong. They can't get behind the Braves 7, 8 games again. Like there's no possible way that can happen. They started off bad. Like they started off getting blown out by Atlanta. One lost 2 out of 3, lost the series to Cincinnati. Offense was non-existent. The pitching was good after that Atlanta series. They was good. They were keeping us in game, but we couldn't score. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, what is happening? Like, what's happening to all these guys? And then the Colorado series happened. And I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna use myself as a good luck charm because I was at the first game that they won when Pache hit that walk-off single. I was there. And that started off a whole run that we've been on now. We're 44-19. That's unbelievable. Best start in franchise history through this many games. How do you feel about this team right now? And are you scared to get your hopes up because you don't want to get them let down come postseason time if we lose?
Oh man, I love this team, and I
Yeah.
love, and me like I love the pitching. The pitching really was standing out to me. Like the fact that we have like I just looked at this post. I think this morning or yesterday. I think it was like they showed the top 10 ERAs of the top
Yeah.
10 lowest ERAs in the National League, and we had six. I think we had like
We
six of
we got
or was
we
it
have we have five.
five out of
Including
10.
including Turnbull. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 10 Phillies. I'm like, what more can you really ask for? Like that's because that's what carried us, especially with that pitching staff we had that in 2011. Like
Mhm.
the pitching is what it makes the offense feel it takes a lot of pressure off the offense.
Hmm.
Yo, if I know all we gotta do is score like 3 runs
And we win.
mostly, and we win, like all right, bet. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just going out there. I'm playing loose and I'm playing free. And I'm liking to see that a lot of our hitters are starting to come into their own. I mean, Marsh, like he does every year, he starts off the year hot and then he always tails off. But I
Yeah, which
mean,
he has
Marsh is
been.
still there. Marsh, we got Marsh, Harper, obviously. He's been a godsend. Alec Bohm is he's come out into his own. Like we got everything we need. Nick is starting to come into his own as well. He's starting to finally get it.
My guy.
Second.
My God. My guy. You know, um, little connection issue.
Second, real quick.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, but nah, but that Nick started coming to his own. We finally hit that first one. I was like, oh shit, that boy Nick back. Okay, Nick.
Right.
Okay, Nick.
I've been
Like,
defending this man for 3 years, and it's so it's so difficult, bro. Because I have nothing. I don't be having nothing to say when he's terrible. It's like because when he's bad, he's bad. Like it's bad.
mm,
But he was on MLB Network yesterday, talking to Mark DeRosa and the guys on MLB Central. He was saying they were asking him like, "Yo, you started off struggling. Like everyone knows that." And he was like, "I feel good now, man. Like I'm my swings feel good now. It's just yeah, Nick just be mad calm, and you can see that. Like I feel like that Miami series because he's from Miami, so whenever he goes there, he destroys the Marlins. Like he just that's just what he does.
yeah,
Since that day, he's made a lot of adjustments, and I was like looking at some film and like breaking down. For me, it's not even mechanical. It's his approach. Like he'd be going to the box and he's 0-2 as soon as he steps in the box because he's swinging at two sliders in the dirt and then takes a fastball middle. Like like, it's just backwards sometimes. But now you see he's getting himself in hitters counts more. He's laying off those sliders down and away, and obviously he's gonna strike out at a high rate because that's just the player that he is. He's like Schwarber is gonna strike out a lot. Certain guys are just gonna strike out. You got to deal with what comes with that. But
yeah,
those other three at bats, he's been hitting the ball hard, hitting home runs. He's hit home runs in back-to-back games, like hitting doubles all over the place. Guys like Stott, who's not having the season he did. He's not been as consistent, but he's still making pitchers throw five, six, seven pitches every time. Like
yeah. And
he's
he's a
not.
dynamo in the field too.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, he's gonna win a Gold Glove this year, and I'm saying that right now. He will win a Gold Glove this year. This year will be his
Mm,
Gold Glove year. He's been unbelievable. I don't think he's made an error this year. I'm not. I don't want him to start today, whatever. But then when you look at what you said, the pitching staff, and back to the offense. Sorry, Harper is I think top three in OPS, and he hasn't even been Harper yet this year. Like he
mm,
hasn't. We haven't seen. That stretch of 3 weeks is gonna come that he's like hitting a home run every single game. He's got 14 right now, and like 45 RBIs, and he hasn't even been Harper. Like that's crazy.
no.
So, Bohm to me, and I was talking about it with Jalen before the season started in spring training, I think it was. And I was like, look, man, I don't know how much longer Bohm's going to be with us because I think they're waiting for him to take that next step. He's already, what, 26, 27. They're waiting for him to take that jump as far as offensively because, bro, you're 6'5". You can't just hit 15 home runs this year. Like, you got to hit some power, got to hit a lot of doubles. And he leads the National League in doubles now. He leads the National League in RBIs. Like, he's just been one of the the best offensive player in the National League outside of, Shohei, who's
Yeah, Shohei and
doing
Mookie.
unspeakable things, and then Mookie. But then when you look outside of those two, who else has been up to par with Bone, up to par with Harper? Like there hasn't been that many guys that's been doing what these guys are doing. And I feel as though it is because of what the pitching staff has been doing. Ranger Suarez is gonna win Cy Young if he keeps this up. And it's not even he's leading right now the Cy Young race in voting. Like him and Wheeler are top two. Him and Wheeler are top two with Glass now at number three. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Nola's at like six right now. Like Nola, who we be saying,
Bro,
bro,
like I said to y'all the other day, I said Nola ERA is under 3.
that's
I said,
crazy.
wow, we really got something this year.
Bro,
Because his first start was
Oh yeah, he got
Awful.
absolutely wrecked against Atlanta. Like he got killed, and that raised his ERA to like a 50. Like he was, that was crazy. And then after that, he's been like Nola. The problem was, and what I try to tell people about, like same thing you got to deal with Schwarber. You got to deal with Schwarber striking out 150 to 200 times a year because he's gonna do it. But he's also gonna have that stretch where he's gonna hit you 16 home runs in a month, and then come playoff time he's going to be one of the best offensive players because that's what he does. He's always been like that his whole career. You can't expect anything different. Nola, outside of that Cy Young Award season that he had, dealing with Max Scherzer, that he had that 2 ERA, I think it was in 2019,
Yeah.
been the same. Like he's going to give up home runs. But what Nola does is that he gives up a lot of solo homers. Like he doesn't put runners on base a lot. He doesn't walk a lot of guys. The problem is he throws 93 miles an hour, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's gonna go right in somebody's barrel.
And his pitches, a lot of his pitches rely on like movement,
Movement, yeah.
deception,
Hmm.
and the years he was struggling, the shit would move, but it
Yeah.
would move right into the middle of the plate, and it'd be
And you said
see
it.
it.
You said it the other day. It's like when he has that curveball working, no one's hitting him. Like
That's my
he
favorite
has,
pitch of
yeah,
his.
that
That's
curveball is
he
disgusting.
throw it, I'd be like, yeah.
Swing and a miss. See you. So the only issue that I have, and bro, Christopher Sanchez is the best number 4 in the league. Like he's another one, bro. He has
I
like
don't even know where they
2
found him.
ERA.
I don't even know where they found
He
him.
was an international finding out of the DR, bro. Like he was, we didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was till last year. Nobody heard of Christopher Sanchez. And last year he came, he did a serviceable job, and they let him
Yeah,
earn the spot in spring training, which he did phenomenal in spring training. I'm like, all right, if your 4 can give you a 3 ERA, which most, you can expect that. 4 can give you a 3 to 4 ERA. This man's giving you less than a 2. Like this is crazy. You don't expect that. Now, the 5 that we have on this rotation is very concerning. He's not going to pitch in the postseason. We can just get that out. But to me, he's been the pitcher that has the ball and a lot of times to win a series or sweep series. And those are the games that we have to score 7 or 8 runs because he's giving you 6 runs in 3 innings.
he be killing me, man. I
Like
can't.
the last 2 games I've been to, he's pitched both of them and it's not cool. Like it's not good to see, bro. I can't stand it. Like I've tried to I'll watch and I'll sit close enough where I can kind of see he's missing by this much on his pitches. And then when he throws a pitch, it's middle at 88 miles an hour. That sinker doesn't sink.
No,
His like his splitter is quote unquote the best pitch he has. Opponents are hitting 500 off his splitter. I just saw the stat yesterday. 500 off of his quote unquote best pitch. So if he doesn't have his best pitch, what does he have? He's throwing sinkers at 88. Like that's not.
clearly, and all his pitches are relying on that downward movement.
Mhm.
It
He
ain't.
doesn't have it.
It's not happening.
It's
So I
moving
think he
this
need
way
to.
instead of this way.
Yeah,
So
he need to take himself back to rehab and start and get right, so we could just get Turnbull back in the lineup, back in
I
that
don't.
rotation. Because I don't understand how. I mean, I get it. Like you said, like you've been saying, it's the contract. Like he
Contract,
has
yeah.
to start because he's making 20 million. But at some point, you just gotta be like, yo, fuck your 20 million. You gonna sit and you gonna watch until you get your act together. Because
Or
even when he was doing his
rehab.
rehab assignments, he was getting four
In
or five
minor
runs.
leagues. He was in AAA getting shelled by guys who aren't sniffing the big leagues. So it's like when I saw that one outing that he had, because I watched it, like I watched it live on MLB. I'm like, all right, I want to see what he going, what he gonna do. Bro, he was the first 3 balls in play he gave up was like at 110. Just bro, Ming. I'm like, yo, this is bad. Like, I'm like, ah, come on, man. And then he gave, I think, like 5 in 2 innings, and they ended up. And the thing is with Thompson, I think does like his numbers are skewed because he's like 3-1, bro. And that's because they let him give up those 5 runs. Our offense ties it up, and then they take him out of the game, so he
Taking
doesn't
him
get
out the
credit for a
game.
loss
You know,
if we lose the
no.
game. It's like Stop doing this to this man, bro.
Like,
Like,
making him look way better than what he is. And then Wheeler's getting this shit in the opposite direction. He don't
yeah,
get no run support. He'll pitch 7 innings, give him no runs, but it's 0-0.
0-0.
So
Yeah,
he gets a no decision.
yeah.
I'm like, yo, that's insane to me.
I feel like the bet, and that's the thing. I think the defense are behind. And that's another thing. I don't know if you notice when Taiwan pitches, the defense is a lot worse because they're not as engaged. Like he's walking too many guys. And me being a baseball player my whole life, when a pitcher's up there not filling up the strike zone and walking guys, you get lazy. Like, and it's just subconscious. You like, bro, like you just get on your balls of your feet, and then a ball is actually hitting play. You're like, oh, I gotta go make a play now. Now you're just stuck,
Mhm.
and that's what happens. Like balls are hitting the outfield, guys aren't getting the best reads off it because that's just what it is. Like Rojas is out there getting lazy, and it's like, bro, this guy just walked two guys in a row. Now he gives up a missile in the gap, and I gotta go get it. So it's like it's different, bro. When you got guys like Wheeler, Nola, Ranger who are just constantly ball in play or a strikeout, you're engaged. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's hard for me to find a game where we've made errors with behind those guys because we don't. Everybody, and then Ranger gets the most run support. The games are like an hour and a half when Ranger pitches, bro, because he just gets in and just bang, bang, bang. Like, and we'll just score. We just put up a five,
I forget
fourth
which
inning.
game I was watching them pitch, bro. Bro, I'm watching the pitch. That his half of the inning lasted like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Literally 3 minutes. I think
there
he
was,
strived first, got ground out.
yeah,
See you.
there was,
Just casually walk back to the dugout.
and there was one. I think it was one inning. It might have been Nola inning. It's like 90 seconds. Like he struck out the guy on three pitches, and then back to back outs were pop ups. I'm like, what? And then we came up and put a five spot at the next inning. Like it's just you can't. It's so hard to play this team right now, bro. I don't like, and I'm gonna be a little bit concerned about this London series as far as Ranger goes because he's coming off a little injury. He's not 100% quote unquote. He got hit in his forearm the other day, and he only pitched 2 innings his last start, and he's going on I think 6 days rest. So I think like it's a little bit. We gotta see what he's gonna come. I have confidence in him, but London. Those games are very high scoring, bro. The Yankees and Red Sox went over there and put up like 50 runs in 3 games. Like Garrett Cole got smacked out there. Like it was one of those games, and the ball just flies in London, and the field is smaller. Like just one of those things. So if Ranger is missing his spots, I'm gonna say like maybe Lindor or Alonso pops one off him, and it's just like one of those kind of games. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But on our side, the Mets stink. So like I'm expecting, and it's also like I'm expecting Castellanos to hit one today. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things where when we get down 4-0, I'm like, we're gonna come back. Like the game ain't,
Yeah,
you know?
that's the thing that I think that like really strikes me about this team is like even when they're in the deficit or they're in a hole, they can come in the ninth inning down for 3-4
Yeah.
runs. And I'm just like,
We got a shot. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
well, we got a chance. Like
mhm.
years past, I'm like, yeah, this shit. I turn that shit off
Turn it
seven
off. Yeah,
innings. I'm like, it's
yeah,
over. Like
yeah.
this team is different. Like they face that adversity. Like they've been together though. Like that's what the thing is like. I
Hmm.
really like they've kept this group together.
Hmm.
They haven't really made like any major changes. And the one thing that I really love is like Trey went down and Sosa literally just came in and was playing. He's playing at the level Trey's was playing at.
Yeah,
So it's like no difference.
none at all. It's like our bench is starters on other teams. Like
Yeah.
Clemens came and was like Barry Bonds for 3 games. Like you got Clemens, you got Sosa. Like Pache comes in and hits the ball hard all 4 times and plays elite defense. Like
hmm
the only one that has, and honestly, people are giving him a lot of hell for whatever it is. Whit Merrifield, he hasn't been good. Now, Whit Merrifield is a vet, like he's a pro, and he's giving these guys advice, whether he's hitting 180 or and playing, terribly. He's making sure these guys are comfortable, these young guys like Rojas and Pache, because he can give these guys advice. That's why we brought him in here to be a
Yeah.
veteran clubhouse guy. We didn't come in here for like people are like, oh, he's not producing. Okay, like we're not expecting him to, bro. Like he's a bench guy. You know what I mean? Like he hit 270 with Toronto as an everyday guy last year, but he's 35 years old. Like he's one of those guys. Now,
Yeah. Just let him come in and just be a mentor. We got a bunch of young guys in the infield and the outfield he could talk to because he can play either one. So I like
Exactly.
it. I like him in that role.
Yeah, me too. Like I don't mind it. Now, I do think Dombrowski is going to go after an outfielder at the deadline. Luis Robert is my number one guy from the Chicago White Sox, center fielder from Chicago White Sox. This guy is a tank. Like he is a straight up tank. He just went deep yesterday. The ball was like this high off the ground and just went to like over the center fielder's head by 100 feet. Like that was just like this. And he's an elite center fielder, like defensively. I was talking to Jay. Jay used to send me the tweet earlier. Like they just named the 10 best landing spots, and we are number one. Like they're for sure trying to get an outfielder, whether it be him or Kyle Tucker. I don't know. Kyle Tucker for me is one of my favorite players. He's so underrated. Like from the Astros, he's so good.
He,
Like,
he ain't even killing shit this year too.
yeah, bro,
Like
he's hitting like
OD.
300. Like he had I think he had 15 home runs in a month. Like he was dumb. He just went on the IL yesterday though with a
Mm.
contusion. So obviously, like that's not going to be a problem come the deadline. Hopefully, he's not either one of those two. Rojas, see you, bro. I'm out. What is that? I'm out of here, bro. Like I'm see ya. Like I'm cool with shipping him out somewhere. And if he doesn't get shipped out, learn bench because you gonna have to just sit. Marsh is playing every day. Sorry, it's gonna happen. The one of those two guys are gonna play every day. The only thing is if we get Robert, he's playing center. But if we get Tucker, he's not a center fielder. So
Mm.
it's either he's gonna go play right, Castellanos got to go ship over to left, and now we're taking like what's Castellanos gonna give you in left field because he ain't really great defensively, but he's been okay in the outfield and from right field. He hasn't played left in 3 years, so it's either what are you gonna do with that? Marsh is gonna go to center. One of those guys is gonna have to choose left field. Kyle Tucker can play left for sure, but it's also like a preference thing. You know what I mean? Kyle Tucker, the big dog, if he come over here, like he gonna be like,
Yeah.
send him to left. Like
Well,
I'm playing
I'll say
right.
I got right.
Yeah.
I got that.
But like you said, the chemistry that is there. Dave Dombrowski has built such like this guy's they're like brothers, bro. They act like little kids. Like they're just and that's what it is. You have to find guys that fit the mold. You can't just bring just because you think superstars are the names like what the Padres did. You brought Tatis, you got Manny Machado, you got Xander Bogaerts and Juan Soto. It didn't work out. Their personalities don't mesh. It just doesn't.
Right.
Clubhouse chemistry is the number one thing that matters. You know what I mean? Guys have to produce, but they produce because of who they're with. That's a big reason. The Yankees, one of the best teams in the league, Juan Soto has changed the culture in that clubhouse, and it
Mm-hmm.
matters. You know what I mean? Oh nine rematch. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the season is going to look like. I'm excited to see if we're going to make any moves. Definitely think we need a new a certified closer. If
Yeah.
we can go get Mason Miller from uh Oakland,
Okay.
throws 110. Like no, he throws like 103 consistently though. Like bro, he's a rookie. Like, he's a rookie and he's up there at 103, 104. Like he's insane. And his slider's at like 94. Just crazy. And he's a monster on the mound. He blew his first save last week, and I don't even blame him. He threw 104 this far inside, and Jose Siri just went like this and hit it out. Like he just went like that. Like it was just the luckiest thing I've
Wow.
ever seen. I don't know how. He just literally turned on it. Had he thrown him a slider there, he was gonna be swinging out of his shoes. Like it was, it was like a lucky John. So if we get him, which I don't think Oakland will do something like that because he's he's a rookie, so they own him. Like they can do whatever they want with him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're gonna give away their best bench. I mean, their best bullpen piece, depending on what they can get back. And I think it will be a haul for him. But that's enough of my rant. But I'm excited to see what they're gonna do the rest of the year, bro. It's so fun to watch right now. Like I'm tuned into every single game because I gotta see what these guys are gonna do. Like even if it's a quote unquote boring game that is like 1-0, I'm still watching like to the
But
end.
that's what it comes with though. Once you get this good, like people are going to tune in no matter what's going on. And
Yeah.
then if you're not scoring, they be like, "Damn, we not scoring today." Like
Yeah.
that's how
What's
we
going
talk. We
on
like,
today? Yeah.
oh, we still winning though, so it don't matter.
John
Like,
John Crutch John Crutch be in the booth by a second inning still 0-0. He's like, yo, we haven't scored yet? What's going on? It's like, oh yeah, we'll score the next inning, and they'll put up like 5 spot. Like,
Or this is the same guys who's consistently getting
yeah.
on base, like because I be doing whatever, so like I don't be having time to like watch every single game from beginning to end. A lot I
Hmm.
always get the ESPN notifications, and there's one dude that I always see every single time. Harper, 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 Harper scored, Harper the second, Harper here, Harper here. I'm like, yeah, this dude is all over the fucking place. He either getting walked or he's getting on base somehow, base hit, double, whatever. Like, and Bohm being so good now, it makes teams have to pitch to
Pitch
him.
to
Like
Harper, bro. Yes,
you can't just say, all right, go, we gonna get Alex Bohm. All right, you want Alex Bohm? Alex Bohm could take you yard. You could hit a double in the gap and score a Harper now. Like we're coming together really good, and I'm excited to see how it goes too. I just hope we don't have like a Dodgers situation.
oh,
That's my only thing. I
that's
don't
the
need a
fear.
Dodgers situation. Yeah.
That's my fear, bro. Like, I don't want us to be that team. Like what we were talking about, yet last year, that they was like, yo, would you rather win the division and have that layoff of 5 days, or would you rather hit that wild card and just play straight through? I'm like, bro, anybody would rather take that break. Anybody would
Yeah.
rather take the break. Anybody would rather have those days off to set up your pitching rotation the way you want it. You know what I mean? You're gonna have your number one Wheeler facing their number three. You know that usually you're gonna have that you're gonna win that game. But as far as the bats, are they gonna get rusty in a 5 game break? Are they gonna, you go face a guy like freaking Kevin Gossman and he's just out there dicing you up in game one and then at your crib beat you? That's gonna be tough, bro. The way it's looking like right now, though, if obviously it's early, but and I think it's gonna stick the same because I don't see any of these other team really making a run besides Cincinnati. I don't really think the National League is that loaded. We might
Yeah.
play Atlanta in the first round again, bro. Like we might play Atlanta in the divisional again.
And
Like,
they riddled
oh, I mean,
two
Acuna's
best
done for the
players
year.
gone. Yeah.
Strider done for the year. Max Fried has been hurt. Like, there's no way. I think this is the best possible situation for us to at least get it to NFCS again, where we're probably going to face the Dodgers. And now we're gonna be seeing something like that. That'll be Kershaw's gonna be healthy. Like Bueller's gonna be healthy, and Kershaw's a choke artist in the postseason now. I'm just talking about like legendary guys. Bueller, Glass now, who's behind Ranger in the Cy Young and Wheeler in the Cy Young. That offense, the first 6 guys. How do you pitch to them? You
Bro,
know
I always look up the box scores, and I always just see that I just see those names, and I'm like,
how, bro? This how you got Mookie, Shohei, and Freeman starting like you waking up, and that's who you got to face. No, bro, I'm not trying to see that. Like, no. But if you can get past them, the difference between us and them, our depth in the lineup is way better than they don't. After the 6 guy, they don't have anybody that's good. Like, and
yeah,
their bench depth, okay, they don't have a pinch hitter that can go out there and like us who can go put Cody Clemens in there or go put Sosa in there and pinch hit and get you an RBI double to win a game. Like, they don't have that. They're
yeah.
gonna have to rely heavily on their first 5 or 6 guys. And if Wheeler, Nola, Suarez can neutralize them, we'll be fine.
But that's what always gets them too. Like they always they're that's how they've been. They just been front loaded. They're
Yep.
always front loaded.
Hmm.
They don't have a lot of like backline support.
Yep.
So if those frontline guys can't carry them, they get swept out the playoffs like
Yeah.
they did last year.
Hmm.
So I mean, if we do end up seeing them down the line, that's what I'm banking on.
Trade
Shohei
for, trade
goes
for Paul
no way.
Skeens.
He's like, oh,
Trade for Paul Skeens. Nah, that's never happening. They never let him go. He's gonna be a pirate for life.
Livy Dunn.
Bring
Need her in the red, white, and blue. But the Philly.
her to Philly. Be up there right next to her suite. Ew.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, me and
Lydia.
Paul go way back.
Yo, when we go to Pittsburgh, bro, I hope we got face Skeens one of them games. I hope he's pitching one of the games in our series. I'm gonna be looking for
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm like, we're Livy. Need it.
Man,
Yeah.
we could wrap this up right there. Appreciate you guys for tuning in this episode. Again, I know it's a little bit a couple of days later than what we're just trying to find a time to record that's good for everybody. It's just people busy, you know what I mean? J Rob doing his thing over there in Texas and we working and try to find time to go work out after and go, spend some time with your fam or whatever the case is. And, it's just hard to come to a day every single week, but we try our best to get it out there. Um, Again, TikTok, Instagram, all that. Follow it, please. You know what I mean? I'm watching all these other podcasts that are just starting up, getting a little bit more traction. Good for them. But y'all know us too, man. Like, you know what I mean? Subscribe to us, man. Um, Putting clips out there. Um, our last thing, I think we was talking about the Apple's top 100. That was a good ep. A lot of singing in that one. But um, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, man. And see you guys next time on What's Next.